Hey, what's Penny cooking today? I'm making my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I thought I would share with you a little bit about my thought process about how I put meals together. So, we're going to talk about the wonderful world of meal planning. So, this is my schedule. As you can see, it's a back to school schedule, but hey, it works. And the first thing that you have to remember when you start thinking about your meal planning is you've got to think about your master schedule. And your master schedule is how many meals are you cooking and for who and when and where. So everybody in my house has a different schedule. So when I cook, I have to take into consideration who's going to eat when. So a lot of times what I do is I cook for myself based on my dietary needs, restrictions, choices. And then I leave the food in the fridge and I leave a note for my family that says, in the fridge, there's this, and this, and this. And so they know what to look for when they open the fridge and they're looking for leftovers or whatever. Okay. And so that system seems to be working out really super well. So when it comes to meal planning, you need to kind of have like a skeleton. Okay. So if you're doing 3 meals a day, like in my instance, I eat when I'm at work because I'm pretty well doing intermittent fasting. So I kind of eat from like 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. and then I don't eat the rest of the time. And, but the other thing too is because I've had bariatric surgery where I've had my stomach, reduced. I can't eat a lot of food, but what I want to choose to eat is food that is very, very calorically and nutritionally dense. So not necessarily calorically dense, but definitely nutritionally dense. So I eat a lot of food with a lot of color, and I eat a lot of food with a lot of variety that I can pack into my little teeny tiny 1-cup servings, because that's about all I can handle even 6 years after my bariatric surgery. So when it comes to meal planning, there's all kinds of resources that you can go to. Pinterest is amazing. There's a bunch of chefs on TikTok that have all kinds of really, really good recipes. Our lovely Mr. Dylan, my brother, just sent me this, and he and I have a passion for old vintage cookbooks and old vintage cooking. And there's all kinds of other places you can get your monthly Food and Wine that has all kinds of recipes and all kinds of great ideas. You can go to the library, you can check out books, or if you're really lucky and you find things like Healthy Meal Prep that has step-by-step instructions on how you can make make meals for your family. I have this one called One Pot, which one thing that works for my family is a couple of times a week I'll do like a crock pot recipe. So this comes in really handy to give me inspiration because my brain is fried. I have been cooking for so long that all I can think about is how much effort is going to require. And that's another thing that you have to take into consideration when you come up with your meal plan is how much effort is it going to take? And do you have the time to invest in what you're choosing to cook? And then the other thing too is I've noticed that if I go out on a limb and I make something a little too crazy, it goes begging because my family likes tried and true. So if I'm going to make something crazy, I'll make it for myself and I'll leave it in the fridge. And if it doesn't get eaten, then I have leftovers for tomorrow. Also, take advantage of your Instapot. This is a great cookbook that I got at Dollar Tree, okay? So this has all kinds of really good recipes, has step-by-steps, shows you how to use your Instapot to make, a meal that you can just leave on the crock pot, and all Instapots usually have a slow cooker feature. One of the things that I've discovered though is that crock pot recipes really work best in crock pots. And using the crock pot feature on your Instapot, I don't know, it just doesn't have the same love, but it's okay because, if you want to do something fast, quick, and dirty, add Instapot. That's my best friend. Another thing is if you get it fried and you need some ideas for some fillers, 100-calorie snacks is a great cookbook. All kinds of really good ideas. Pinterest is a great thing. I've been known to go to ChatGPT and say, give me a bunch of ideas. And it's been wonderful, and it's given me. And if you want to go vegetarian, you can even find cookbooks on vegetarian and meatless meals. So today on my menu plan, notice I'm off on Thursdays and Saturdays, so I just put those as open because I never know where, when, what, because I do my doctor's appointments on Thursdays, I hang out with my girlfriends on Thursdays and not on Saturdays, and so I'm all over the place, so I don't know what I'm going to be cooking. So today I have on my schedule fruit and yogurt, I have shrimp cocktail, avocado toast, and apples. Okay, so one of the things that I've discovered in my house is that meal prep doesn't exactly work because my family will see an item in the fridge and they'll go, oh, I can eat that. And they just, because they think if it's in the fridge, it's fair game. And even if I don't put it on the note that says this is fair game, they'll just smack it down because they're hungry when they get home. They're both doing very, very physical manual labor jobs. So I get it. I totally get it. So for my shrimp cocktail, basically I've cut up some red onion and some tomatoes. I've got a cucumber here. I'm going to chop that puppy up. Now, one thing about cucumbers actually come from, they can be bitter. So, whenever I cook with cucumbers, I always make sure that I taste them first to make sure that they're not gross. Because I had that happen one time where, excuse me, I had that happen one time where I was making cucumber sandwiches and I did all of this beautiful prep work in my cucumber sandwiches, but I didn't taste my cucumbers first. They were really, really bitter, and the sandwiches were gross. So always taste your cucumbers when you do your cucumbers. I also have a rib of celery, and I'm just going to cut this into little tiny pieces, and I'm going to throw it in the shrimp cocktail. And the thing that's nice, like you can make like a Mexican ceviche too, where you're just using lemon juice and you can, and that kind of cooks the shrimp. I just got a bag. I did an inventory of my freezer and I found that I have several bags of shrimp. And one of the things about meal planning is that you it's made me focus more on my automatic buying habits. Like every time I go to the grocery store, I get a can of this, a bag of that, a box of this, and then I end up having waste because I already have it. So I've been really more conscientious about what I purchase when when I do my grocery shopping. The other thing too that I have to take in consideration when I do my grocery shopping, and remember how I mentioned I'm all pointing at when I mentioned your master schedule, like for example, the trash guys come on Wednesdays. So on Tuesdays, that's the day that I'm looking for what's in the fridge that needs to be used up. And when I do that, what I'm doing is, I usually will do like maybe a stir fry, or I'll do a curry that I'll leave in the crock pot, or I'll leave some kind of a soup when it's soup weather, which it's not yet, but we're getting there. It's fall. And, so here I have a whole bunch of chopped veggies. So remember I talked about nutrient dense. So we've got green, red, and purple in here, which are all nutrient dense, which makes this a very nutrient salad once we get the protein in there. And then for the dressing, I just use good old chili sauce, or you can use cocktail sauce, or you can make your own, use a little bit of ketchup or whatever. And then, because I never think that the cocktail sauce has enough oomph to it, I always throw in some extra hot horseradish. So one of the things, get yourself some of these spoons. These are iced teaspoons, but they're great for getting stuff out of the bottom of little narrow jars. So, yeah, so get that in there, and then give the sauce a little bit of a stir, give it a taste. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of pepper in there because I like everything's better with pepper. So give that a shot, throw that in there, see if it's the flavor you want. You can throw a little sriracha in here if you want a little more flavor. You can give it a shot. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yum, yum, yum. So like I said, I found a whole bunch of shrimp back in the freezer. The shrimp goes in the bucket, and then boom, you got a shrimp cocktail. So this is going to be amazing by the time it's ready for me to eat it. And then Papa's got something to eat when he gets home, and he loves a good shrimp cocktail. So there you go, shrimp cocktail. And anyways, I'm going to move on to the rest of my cooking, and I'll see you in a little bit for day 3 of our October challenge. Anyways, until next time, don't forget, I love you. And if you want to see any of these recipes, let me know, and I'll show you how I make avocado toast. And what did I have? Have fruit and yogurt, shrimp cocktail, avocado toast, and apples. Yeah. So, anyways, that was shrimp cocktail. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, don't forget, love ya, and ta-ta for now.